The answer is take the win and run.
I get hung up on certain things.
I have OCD, Jake.
I mean, hi guys, my name's Jeff. I'm an equal opportunity lover. You guys know that.
But wouldn't the dog want to stay on the meat wagon?
We say you can convince the dog to hop off.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm intelligent.
That's such a Jeff answer right there.
He's handsome, curly-haired, and Jewish, sitting right here.
Jeff, you are a golden retriever.
Hey, Jake, that's what you kids call that drip, right?
It was good despite the gastric consequences, but call me the crystal ball here, man. I'm getting everything right except my own picks. That's really, to me, a battle of two of the coaches with the best hair.
Welcome to the E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Founded in 2013, the EHL is your next step on the path to college. Over the past decade, the EHL has established itself as the college placement leader on the East Coast. And now, here's your host, the commissioner of the Eastern Hockey League, Neil Ravin.
Thanks, Jim. With that, let's bring in Jake and Jeff. Guys, we got a special guest this week. Welcome to the podcast, Adam Houli.
Fools.
Hey, it's been a long time for me. I'm excited to be back with you guys on and talk a little shop.
Yeah, I didn't have time to go back and see what the previous episode was, but it has been a while. And we're bringing you on during what we can call a big week, guys. Adam, the news of us announcing ourselves as Tier 2, when the idea first started coming up, what were your initial thoughts, as remember, an owner and a coach in this league?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was that natural next step. And I think that's how, from the owner side of it and even from the coach's side, I've always really felt. And to be honest, I think the league has always felt it, right? Being in the trenches with the coaches, it's something I always talk about. We have really, really strong coaches, and I just feel like we've always operated and coached at the level of Tier 2 and provided our players a Tier 2 level of coaching. So for years since I got into this league, I always felt we were above other leagues in that regard. So that felt like a natural next step, almost a finally needed step. And as an owner, watching all the things that we do behind the scenes, again, just being around a lot of different leagues, we were just already operating in that standard. So for me, personally, it just felt like this was just needed. This was a necessary step. This was, you could argue maybe we were a little behind in doing it because we had been operating at such a high standard and providing that to our players and our families that it just felt very natural and very like this was due time. And we needed to do this. And to be honest, that's why really for us, nothing has changed. We haven't skipped a beat, nothing. We just kind of continue to hit the ground running, and it's kind of how we all operated. So I'm excited we finally announced it. And to us, it's just the next step and what we're trying to do. And I think that's how all of our coaches feel, how our owners feel, even our customers feel, right? And now I think they get the feeling of, you know what, we kind of can now say we're in a Tier 2 league, and that's what we're in.
For sure. And I began that question by noting that you are owner and coach. There's two organizations like that in the league where they have two guys that coach and are also 50-50 owners. Do you think that allows you just a different perspective when meeting with, your players and as well prospective players?
Yeah, I think, selfishly, it gives me an advantage on the recruiting trail because what I say is exactly what I have to do. And I have to hold myself accountable to those because not only am I recruiting you as a coach, I need to make sure as a coach that I'm providing that as an owner. So I do think it is a huge advantage to that, and being able to just understand the ebb and flow of recruiting trails, of the recruitment process. I just think it gives us a lot of foresight into what we try to do. So, obviously sometimes it gets me in trouble on the bench. I won't lie. Sometimes I wear too many hats there and make it known. But I do try to think it gives us an advantage in that category, right? In the recruitment process, the experience process, the behind the scenes process, that definitely gives us a big advantage.
And Adam, I mean, you've done it at all levels, right? As far as being a player, you produced the youth levels, the prep levels, college levels, playing at Trinity Hockey, Trinity College, and then in the Fed for a little while. But so it's interesting. You've kind of done it at all levels, playing wise, and then coaching wise, you've been at it for a while, even though you're only 36. How does this change your mindset and roster building going forward for next year for recruiting?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it just continues to evolve how we look at our roster. It continues to strengthen our premier level, because in that you really have to now continue to force development within your own organization, and we need to take full advantage of that. And I think we've done a good job. So for me, it's an exciting time. I think it allows me to really look at it from a true general manager sense. I know all of our coaches, we are GMs as well, but now I believe it really allows me to look at the greater scope of what we're trying to do here, identifying players for the future, and then identifying players that can help us right now, and then kind of holding everyone to those standards. So I'm excited because, I know we do a good job right now of developing at our premier level, developing at our EHL level. But now we really have to stand behind that and produce and really do that. I think it's going to make the player more excited as well, to get to us earlier, to get into what we're trying to do earlier. And the experiences I've had in my past, just taking from, coaching is the art of stealing, right? That's what everyone says. It really is. You steal from others and you take what's good, what's bad, and you make it yours. So just continuing to go back and look at things that I really enjoyed, that gave me experience at a high level, taking from a coach, how he treated certain things and how things were done. We have always tried to do that since we entered this league. And now, again, it's just at the forefront of what we do. So taking all those experiences and continuing to evolve will be our biggest thing as we look ahead for us and what we're trying to do.
And Rules, in the talks that we've had behind the scenes with like me, you, Justin, and Neil, you've been big on transparency, especially in regards to, the changes that the league is making just to take more steps in this direction. At a time like this in junior hockey, how much more important is that transparency for the players we're serving?
Yeah, that's everything, right? I've always said it, and to every parent I talk to every player I talk to, in a good way and a bad way, hockey right now is the Wild West, right? It's a new frontier. You're entering something that you might not have zero experience on, or you have an advisor telling you one thing, a coach telling you another. You're entering a world of simply just confusion and chaos. And while it's confusion and chaos, I think being transparent allows the player and parent to just take a deep breath and recognize the stability, right? And that's what we talk about quite a bit, is the stability here. And listen, there's plenty of people who probably will listen to me speak now and say, who didn't work out as an 87, but they won't say I wasn't transparent. They won't say I wasn't honest. And that's what I stand behind quite a bit. Now, sometimes I miss, sometimes I'm wrong. And I say that to my players all the time, and I think the parents kind of see that. And anyone who's not with our program anymore, I don't think they would ever say the 87s misled me. It didn't work out. But I think what we stand behind is how strong we have of a program and what we do. And now look at our program as a whole, right? We've had the Brandishes in our family of program for over 5 years now. And I think we can go through quite a few people who've been here for 2 to 3+ years at the junior level is really important. We have Alex Lykoff, who returned to us because he trusts ourselves, our program, and what he gets when he's here. I just think it shows in the players that we have that transparency. They believe what we're saying. And that right now, as the world continues to evolve and the marketplace continues to evolve, you want to make sure you're going somewhere where you trust, right? Or you trust and believe in the services that they're going to provide, right? Because again, not always is it going to work out the way you might want it, but at least I know what I'm getting myself into. And I know what I'm going to have. I know what is going to be provided for myself. I know I'm going to have the ability to speak to the coach. I'm going to have the ability to speak to ownership. And in our situation, it's both. So you really have a great opportunity. There is going to be not on the same page conversations, right? So when I speak to a family coming from the owner to coach, I can tell them this is exactly what it's going to be. And it's not going to be a couple of days later of, I didn't get that approved or it didn't work out. No, this is what we're going to do for you. And this is how we're going to go about that. So I think in this world, I think it's what we stand behind. Transparency is everything right now. And I think, again, if you look at our program, if you look at our league, if you look at the coaches in our league, have remained the same for years now. That's stability, that's transparency. That is because we do what we say and we follow through with it. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's ever more prevalent now. And I encourage anyone listening and players and parents, ask tough questions, look
Yep.
for transparency in that, and just make sure you're doing everything possible. Because for me, I love when the questions get very hard and real, because I know we do well with them, because we have to be transparent. There's nothing else I have to do but be honest and be truthful, because we need the player here to be very focused for 8 months. And we want the family in support of that.
For sure, for sure. And I'm glad that you brought up Wyckoff, which we'll get to him again later, because I think we'd be remiss to not talk about 2.3 points per game. We'll get to that, right? But
And most importantly, I think he's Hudson Houli's favorite player.
okay, that too, yes, of course. But I think what you just said really just capitalizes on all, like, we come up with this new and improved branding, right? Develop, promote, advance. And you just really hit on what we provide to develop, right? And yesterday we came out with this graphic talking about how we promote. And I love the way that Justin built the graphic, because we really squeezed as much as we could into that graphic. You saw Jake, you saw Trevor. What you didn't get to see is how individually you can do it with the 87s, Coach Houli. And let's talk now for a second about Anthony and Chris, two staples for you, right? But every game that the 87s have at home, your fan base, your families, they know what they're getting. How valuable are those two individuals to your program?
Oh, it's a tremendous amount. It's those guys have been with us since the start, and without them, we wouldn't be the 87s the way we talk about the 87s. I mean, it's truly a remarkable feeling to have those guys be a part of it and know that every home game is going to be taken care of, that the parents who are from all parts of the world are going to have a broadcast that these two are going to put on. Just the care and the pronunciation of their last names. I know it sounds small, but the fact that they take very much pride in making sure that when mom and dad is listening from afar, they get your name right, is a tremendous thing. The post-game coverage that they do, the ability for them to cut highlights within the same day and get it out for us on our social media channels is tremendous. And I think, to be honest, and again, I say this very proudly, I think it's also pushed other teams to follow suit. I think, and that's due to them. I think they provide a tremendous service. They're so knowledgeable in what they do, and they're so passionate in what they do. Without those two, again, we wouldn't be the 87 way. We wouldn't be as clear cut, as transparent, and as open, and as good at what we do on those side of things without them. So they are as much a part of our success. They are part of our team. Anytime we've won a championship, those guys are 100% part of getting rings for our program. Those guys we want to make sure they know that they are loved, because they do a great job. And I think they know that. I think that's why they've always returned. There's never been a hesitation. But without those two, just their knowledge and passion bring more to the game. And listen, when you have two guys like that in your organization, how do the players and parents not love that, right? Not love the coverage that they're going to get. Again, if you listen to a game, right, the stories that Anthony will tell, I didn't even know sometimes, but it's him talking to players and parents contacting him. It's crazy. And I tell him in the office, I mean, that's tremendous work. It really is. I always love just putting it on in our office and listening to the game back, because I learn a lot, and just the knowledge of the game itself. Anthony's really, really good at it. And so is Chris, but just knowing our systems, they ask us questions. Like, they'll ask us before the game, what we're trying to do, what are some keys, so that they can incorporate that into the game. I mean, that's a professional level broadcast, and to have those two be a part of our program, there's not much more you can say. That we're forever grateful, and we're really proud of the work they do.
And Adam, continuing on the developing process of this new Tier 2 announcement. So you guys are going to play a few more regular season games next year. You're going to play 50, but also you got this crossover series, which I find really interesting, and I think that's phenomenal, right? Because you see that at the higher levels too, right? Is traveling, and that's something the EHL wants to get on, is traveling more. You guys obviously see these teams during showcase play, but that's a little different format too, with the two showcase halves. But how excited are you as an organization to be part of this crossover series now and see these, for you guys, like the New Hampshire Avalanches of the world, the Walpole Expresses of the world, more often?
I'm super excited. I love the travel part of what we do. I think it builds the culture and chemistry without having to force it. I love the fact that we can wake up on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice knowing we're heading into the north to have a weekend, a travel weekend. Again, I think that's what the next level is about. You're going to have those games away for the weekend. How do you prepare for that? How do you do that? So I'm super excited to get into those conferences. I'm super excited to represent the South. I think the South at times has kind of been overlooked in a good way, not a bad way. But I'm excited for us to showcase that more into the North and show teams what we're capable of down here on a regular basis. I think that would be really important. But again, all the nuances of the travel are fun to me, right? I love the idea of getting on the bus early, getting to a hotel, getting a meal in, getting into a nap, getting into a routine. And I think the players are going to really look forward to that. And obviously from us, we do a good job of making sure that the players are taken care of, making sure that they only have to worry about getting on the bus, preparing for a game, and we'll handle everything else. We'll have a staff traveling with them. So I'm excited. I know it's a big part of what the league is looking to do, and we're more than excited and honestly can't wait to see what our matchups will be so that we can begin to prepare that process and prepare for that weekend.
To go back to the promotion standpoint, you've always been big on that and the outward appearance of everything. And in a world where perception is so important, what's the balance for you between perception and blocking out a lot of that outside noise?
I think it's always been it's not even blocking out the outside noise. We don't need to really even focus on that because we trust what we do and that is everything, right? So we're firm believers in our organization that we're passionate about what we do and the outside stuff never really bothers us or takes our focus away because we just continue to evolve what we do inside of our program, right? So again, we announced Tier 2. What are we doing different? For us, it's continuing to evolve, right? We brought in a BCK coaching that does some scouting for us, some video work for us of a staff that has won a Robinson Cup 2 years ago. So we've added coaches to our players' arsenal that they can bounce questions off, they can be relied upon of. We brought in, we makeshift literally sky cameras into our practices so that our players can see from above what we're trying to do, right? So we're trying to provide the player more resources. So when people comment that we're not doing things or our play is not, well, I don't see a lot of other programs doing that. We're continuing to do that, right? And evolving that. We recently brought in a skating coach to work on our skating towards the end of the year because as we know, towards the end of the year, there's only so much you can do. There's a lot more games and practices. We got to focus on some different things. So now we have a skating coach coming in and working with our players on those levels, right? So I just think for us, blocking out that noise is just simply getting up and getting to the rink and getting into your routine because you got to trust your routine is going to be better than everything else. And for us, that is the biggest thing. And that's, I think our league has done as a whole as well is we continue to operate, right? We don't pay mind to that other stuff because we don't need to. It's not that big of a deal. We know who we are and we stand by it. We don't run, we don't hide. And we promote ourselves and that's what we are. So like other leagues, we don't need to comment. We don't need to talk about it. We're just simply, hey, this is who we are, and this is why we are what we are. And I think that's the biggest thing. So we just stand by what we do. And I think that's the biggest thing for us as a program. And I think furthermore, as a league, the outside noise means nothing because we know who we are and we've always stood by that. And we're going to continue to improve and provide on those things. And, no better time to join us, right? If you can't beat us, you got to join us.
For sure. So wrap it up now with advance, right? We covered develop, we covered promote, now we advance. And I almost kind of laughed a little bit. I mean, Jeff and I joke on this podcast all the time that these players are now graduating college when, it shows how long we've been with the league, right? But I'm on the ice at the end of our Northeast game, all-star team against Wentworth and your alumni is right there. George Wiener, the captain of Wentworth now, cover him and Cam Carroll won goalie of the week in the NE10. Zach Lindenworth was an honorable mention in the NEHC. And I bring these guys up because they weren't number one point guys in the league, but in any regard, right? But I think the alumni stories that we put out there every week show that everybody that we advance to college has the ability to succeed. Do you feel that same way as a coach in the league, that every player that commits out of our league has a chance to be successful from the moment they arrive?
Yeah, I think that's exactly why years ago we chose this league. That's exactly why I continue to be so enthralled in this league, because I truly believe that our players are going to be successful at the next level. We will have the player that can produce points. We are going to have the player that will eat 7 to 8 shots in a game. We're going to have the player who's going to be your captain your senior year in our league. And I think that's why, if you've really watched college hockey over the last couple of years, the reason parity in Division III has happened so much is because I think our league has helped that. I think we've put so many players into Division III league that it's become a really tight league. It's really hard to win at the Division III level. And I think we have a big part of the reason why is we have our players competing against each other, helping out programs. For us at the 87s, I think it's the same way. I think what I always tell college coaches is, listen, this player is going to help your program in whatever way you need. If you need a depth player and everybody wants to sell a depth player, we're going to have that because he's doing that now. He recognizes his job here. And I think that is a bigger part of the league. Everyone recognizes who they are. Our league knows what we're trying to do. So the recruitment of our player, he's not going to be, delaying or waiting or saying, hey, I still think this. They know what we are and we know what we are. So there is no hesitation. So when they get to campus, they know, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. They know this is the level it's going to be. There is no sticker shock. There is no, I felt like I should be better because I come from a higher league. Well, that doesn't mean anything anymore, right? And that's what I try to tell prospects that are out there right now. It's great, but at the same time, do you want to play 85 games in 2 years, or do you want to be playing 40 games in 2 years and ready for college hockey? I don't think you're going to be ready for that. If you're not playing on a daily basis, if you're not playing in a role that you want to be playing in, how can you expect that going into college just because, the title of the league you might be in? I don't think that matters. I think what matters is getting yourself in a position to get ready for college hockey, and that's what we're here for. That's what we do, and that's what all of our coaches talk about, and at the end of the day, produce. And for us, for me, that's the big part, right? It's just standing, again, behind what we say, producing players that can advance to the level and then be important players on those teams. And I think if you look at the rosters on all the teams and all the D3 land right now, you're going to see an important player who's on that team, who's played in our league, and that is of no shock. That is the expectation. That is what we know we're going to do and continue to do.
No doubt. And we spent the majority of this interview having you on the podcast talking about the league and what the 87s provide along with that, and not as much about this year's team. So I have to wrap it up with a question about this year's team, because Jeff kind of just teased this before. Obviously, you are motivated to win the South, but knowing that if you win the South, you go back to your alma mater for the regional finals, there has to be some extra motivation this year for you.
Yeah, I mean, of course there is. There's, it's been a while since I've been back. Frankly, that was our hashtag this year about own it in all of our tweets. We haven't been at the top level, at the EHL level, back to the Frozen Finals. For us, that is the goal. We need to own that we haven't been there, and we need to own that we're doing it. And frankly, I want to own it because I want to get there. I certainly want to be able to do well in the South. I love the new format. I want to take full advantage of the format. And frankly, being at Trinity would be a blessing, but we also want to win there, right? I don't want to just get there and then not do well. So it'll be definitely a motivating factor because it is where I spent a lot of my delicate years for 4 years playing and want to get back to that rink. Special to get there, win there, hopefully, and move. But obviously we have to get through just getting to the playoffs right now. I mean, our division is so tight and so tough. We're gonna remain focused on that, but there is motivation to continue to find ways to give us every opportunity to get there. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not shy saying it. Obviously, coming from Trinity, I want to get back to Trinity. So,
yes.
That's important for us, and there's no doubt there's an extra little fire there to try to get that done this year.
Yeah, so definitely remain focused, but know that we're excited to watch for sure. So
it'll be good.
We appreciate you coming. We appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Of course, guys. I appreciate it, and then we'll all talk soon.
Thanks. We'll see you, man.
See you guys.
Thanks again to Adam Houli for coming on the podcast this week. I think, guys, I think I was talking to Jake about this. I was trying to figure out what coach we wanted to have on to interview after the tier 2 announcement. And again, love all the coaches, okay? But I think we got the right one.
I think we nailed it. I'd say we nailed it. Yeah.
I'd say so.
So
Adam Houli, well spoken.
Yes.
He's just a smart guy. And like we said, too, he's just done it at all levels. He's produced as a player at all levels. He's done extremely well as a coach and owner. He's just a very smart, young, intelligent hockey mind that knows what he's doing. So yeah, that was awesome to have him on. Good selection, Commish.
yes. So obviously continuing on with our Around the East show for the week, right? There's really, we're not going to go division by division this week, guys.
No.
Bigger news,
A little
if
bigger.
you will.
We'll get back to that. We have plenty of the season left.
Listen, and I personally, I try and stay humble. You know that, Jeff. Like,
Yep.
but I kind of like the new tagline. I'm a big fan
I do too.
because we've always done that, and
TPA,
now we're just
baby.
making it official, right? So really, just to dive in deeper on the develop part of what we do. It came up there, the crossover series. So we currently play 46 games. That's going up to 50. So
Like
for those players that, are eligible to return, that are wondering who they're going to play, the way that we envision figuring out those matchups is at the end of the regular season, you combine the North and East divisions together, and you combine the Central and South divisions together. And when, call it the Mid-Atlantic Conference, comes north to face the New England Conference, 1 plays 1, 2 plays 2, 3 plays 3, etc. When it flips, you keep them really just in pods. You're not going to play 1 and 1 again. So now 1 in Northeast plays 2 in Mid-Atlantic, and vice versa. And you kind of work down and pods of 4 from there. So you're telling me right now that we're going to get, Avalanche versus Bears, and Avalanche versus 87s, and Capitals versus Wizards, I want to say. Like these are matchups that you want to be a part of if you're an aspiring college hockey player. Like, period, end of story.
100%. 100%. Coach Houli did a great job of explaining that, right? Like, because you don't really think about the whole process of it. It's kind of like when you're on the road in playoffs. Like, yes, you're taking a bus, you're gonna go stay in a hotel. Team bonding, like we all know, hockey is one of those sports that team chemistry and team bonding is the biggest thing. You can have some very talented guys. We've seen that in the junior leagues, college, and pros that just don't work out because their personalities don't work out well. So those trips are priceless for these teams going forward, to be able to sit in hotels and really learn your teammates and even learn your systems and everything better to become better hockey players, to advance to the next level.
Yeah.
And look at the games you just referenced. I mean, we had Avalanche Bears at a showcase this year. It's one of the best games of the year. Yeah. We had Avalanche like 87s. It was a loss for the Avalanche, shootout win for the 87s. Great hockey game. We had Providence Capitals versus East Coast Wizards. Wizards were up 3-0, got their first loss courtesy of the Providence Capitals. Declan Kelly scored a Michigan. If you want more Michigans, you have to do cross-divisional play. Like, that's a fact we've come to realize. So that is the main motivation, I think, is that we need to see more Michigans.
Correct, of course.
Advanced Michigans.
Yes. But furthermore, when you go play college hockey, it's not going to be the same schedule as junior hockey, right? I mean, obviously a lot depends on where you're located, but take Elmira, who we played in the college series this year. When they have to travel a certain distance, they're going on the road to play 2 games. When they go play the University of Southern Maine, they go play a Friday and Saturday night.
Yep.
We're going to do the same thing. I mean, again, why do you, like, this is kind of like Miracle on Ice, right? Why do you want to play college hockey? Isn't obvious for the girls, right? Like, why do you want to play junior hockey? Because you want to know what it's like to play college hockey, right? We're putting players into situations where they're going to be ready to succeed once they get there. So when the New Jersey 87s come up to face the Avalanche, potentially, I know that now that I outline how it's going to work, I hope that everybody's motivated to climb as high as they can in the standings down the stretch.
One would
But
think.
but when the
That's-
87s come up, like if it's a Friday and Saturday night, I promise you, Coach Houli is going to make it so like they are Elmira coming up to face UMass Boston. Like get the team ready like it's a college hockey weekend. And that's why we're here. That's what you're trying to develop as a player. So that's really the core of the develop side of the branding. When you add in that we will be playing additional games in NCAA venues, continuing with the regional finals and frozen finals in NCAA venues. You know, opening day, every single team is going to play on opening day next season. We're going to pick the matchups for them. Sorry, Jeff, you go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say to go off this point, Neil, too. You brought up a great point there. You know who else is very thankful for you, the league, and the owners all doing this? The college coaches, which is why we're in business, because they usually only get to see these guys that are far away, right? You just mentioned Elmira. Is Elmira taking a lot of trips all the way down south to New Jersey? Probably not. SUNY Brockport, schools that we're all close with, those are really far away from the PA Huntsmans, the Philadelphia Hockey Clubs, the 87s. So now with the crossover series, you're helping the people that are also helping you. So together that creates an even better formula.
100%, 100%. And like I mentioned, you know, we're playing additional games in college venues. We're going to have every team play opening day. It just all segues into the promote label next, right? Because, you know, that's really, you know, and this is where we try and stay humble, but that's where we've been recognized over the course of our time, guys, is that we've always got a lot of respect for what we do. And I think what's made us great is we've never gotten complacent. We've tried to do the next thing on top of that, right? I mean, I remember when Trevor put a camera on the bench for a bench cam celebration. Like that was sick. So, and like more of that is coming, but to dive in further, next season we're going to have media days for each division, right? So the North will get together at a central location to be determined, but say Valley's in the North, they have 2 sheets, so you could get together there. Obviously, same with the East, you could do it in Walpole, Central, South, and all of our teams play preseason games, so now you get to do it all in the same building. But in the same breath, that's where you're going to come and you're going to get the chance to meet Jake. I can only imagine how many interviews Jake will get done during the preseason media days. But at the same time, it will feel like Christmas and Hanukkah for Jake, right? Because we're gonna show up and these kids are gonna walk out with Quench, you know, a water bottle of the Quench package, right?
Sticks, that's amazing.
They're gonna walk out with 2 CCM sticks. They're gonna walk out with the Duster shirt. I should have brought it down. I should have wore it right now, actually, guys. I should have just had it on.
Next week.
Next week, I'll probably wear it.
We'll plug them.
And it's going to feel like Christmas or Hanukkah because you're going to walk out with all that stuff, right? But that's, again, it all goes back to, like, there's been a bunch of questions that have been asked, and I hope continue to be asked. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that when you pay to be in our league, you see the return.
You get your value
in the experience.
Yeah.
Especially from the promotion side of things.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard before just, you know, how many people have kept their eyes on us in that regard. And how we've often been imitated, never really duplicated. So we're going to continue to kind of be the best and carry the flag in that direction. And you ever see that video of that teacher, like where students are walking in and he's like offering like a handshake, a high five, or a hug?
I don't know if I have
it.
That's what I'm going to be on like media day. He's walking by, they're going to take a high five or a hug.
But you can't give all 3 to a person is what you're saying.
No, you can. You can.
Because I was going to say.
Jake will show us.
Yeah, because like I was going to say, there's probably certain players that you would want to give all 3 to.
Yeah, I think all of them.
I was going to say maybe there's some you don't, but nope, not in Jake world.
But I'm just picturing now, Jeff, the end of the college series for the Northeast. So Jake daps this kid up, then he hugs them, then they do like a double high five, and then the kid probably walks up to me and is like, "Good to meet you."
Calls you sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Hello, Commissioner, sir. Like, oh my God, I'm not that old, guys. Sheesh.
It happened though. That's exactly what took place
It
in
was
Wentworth
exactly
this
what
year.
happened.
You get called Mr. Raven too. Hello, Mr. Raven.
That one.
Ugh.
That
What?
one I will say, like, you don't have a lot of moments, Jeff, where you feel old, but when Mr. gets put, into the intro line of an email,
Raging.
that's when you start to
Raging.
feel old.
Yeah.
And then, we touched on, and we'll wrap up this new and much improved branding, develop, promote, advance. We've always advanced, right? Now
Yeah.
we're just going to do it even further. And I was so excited, timing worked out, flawlessly in this regard. We coordinated this perfectly with Jack Boschert. Because obviously we included his quote in the story, and it came right after he made 40 saves over the weekend for the nationally ranked
Love that.
University of Wisconsin Superior.
Thank you, Jack.
Yellow Jackets, by the way. One word. I was convinced it was 2 words. Yellow Jackets, but
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
yeah. So, but the Boschert story is just the beginning, guys.
But it's
Because-
also a perfect story too, Neil.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like if you pull up his EP, he went to a couple other places, did not do well, did, in his words, he'd probably say horribly, and probably kind of looked in the mirror and was like, what am I doing here? And we all know, we talk about his dad, right? Kevin Boschert still watches and listens to all of our games. I always am tweeting with him, and he watches the other leagues too. I'll tell you that. He will message me when I'm elsewhere and everywhere. So he sees it all, and he continues to say that the EHL is his absolute favorite. He's very blessed that his family and Jack were a part of it and that they can still watch from afar. But just look up his elite prospects. That will literally tell you all about his development and how the minute he came into the EHL and came into the Express, he became the good goaltender that he is now, that helped him get to where he is in college with Wisconsin Superior.
And we're gonna have more of those players, and we're gonna push ourselves even harder to get more players to some of the schools that we don't get as many to right now. I mean, Wisconsin Superior, he was the second player in league history, but the first direct placement, the first one was alumni, right? So we're gonna have more of those as we continue to develop, promote, advance. And guys, I mean, it's been a busy week, but it's been a great week. So for those that have reached out with the kind messages or even to say congratulations, right? Like first off, we appreciate it, but at the same time, know that we're just starting. Like there's gonna be more that we pump out there in the days, the weeks, the months to come. We're not a league that jumps in, and makes a cannonball and then that's it. That's the big splash. Like we're gonna constantly be meeting, whether it's the executive committee, the marketing committee, the competition committee, you name the committee. That's how dedicated this league is to making sure that the overall experience is that perfect for the player, and we're gonna keep doing that and working forward every single day.
We're gonna swim. We're gonna swim.
Yeah, we're gonna swim. Are you good? Are you a good swimmer?
I'm a really fast swimmer. My grandparents had a pool growing up. So
like Michael Phelps fast?
No, I think that
gold
guy's
medal?
probably got a slight edge on me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I'm not a great swimmer. I can do it, right? I can swim, but it's big. Like I'm big doggy paddle. Like if the Olympics had doggy paddle, I'd probably be in that.
You and Nash,
I
can see
love the
both.
beach. I just love the beach.
Yeah.
I'm a big
That's
beach
great.
guy. Neil, I don't think
I
you
like
as a
lakes.
beach guy.
What's you say?
You a lake guy, Neil?
Well, my parents live by the beach, so I like the beach. I enjoy.
Really? I thought you probably were like the type that would just be like, I don't like sand and like crevices and whatnot.
Wow. I don't like sand in my crevices.
We can make it through every episode, and I can think, there's no good line for the intro, and then there it is. There it is.
Boom. And Justin's cutting it as we speak.
But if you want to drop another one, Jake, we'll do it in a minute about fantasy.
Now it's time for the eShow Fantasy Challenge. Follow along on the EHL app. Available now for free on both Apple iOS and Android.
So we'll go quickly here as we do every week in fantasy, talking about our Yahoo league. Yes.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you're doing okay.
I'm not. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm me and Sorella are in a toilet bowl this week. He's got Karel Marchenko from the Blue Jackets on his IR in his wing spot, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm projected to beat him by 15. We'll see if that happens.
I'm not gonna bother saying any NHL name this week because I don't feel like getting crap from you guys. So
Oh, well, you're second in the league now. Look at you shooting up the standings. You're technically
yeah,
tied for first.
all because
So
of
is
the
Justin.
defenseman who also shares my first name. There you go.
Oh,
Hey,
Mr.
Neil,
Poink.
Poink.
Speaking of defensemen, we picked up Tony DeAngelo, who's been a horse
He's
for the
been
New York
nasty.
Islanders since
Yeah.
starting.
Horrible human, but he's a good hockey player.
Hey, I don't give a damn, dude. The guy just tucked an overtime winner.
Yeah,
And
should you?
he pisses off a lot of people in the process. Go TDA, bro.
He looks like perfect Long Islander.
He
Is
does.
he from Long Island?
He's a Philly guy.
You just see his
But
face.
he looks like Long Island grit. You know?
Face. My nose is pushed. He's got that. I'm like, oh, I looked at his little biopic the other day, and I was like, yeah, you look like a.
Yeah, I don't think him and I would get along too well, but
Probably not.
if he keeps
It
putting
was-
pucks in the net for the boys in blue and orange, we got a good deal going.
He looks like some of the Guidos you used to see at the Dizzy Lizard, Jake. That would, yeah. We'll leave it at that. Great bar from Old Hofstra University.
So for those
Fun
that don't
times.
know, Jeff did go to school on Long Island, so he can say
I know
those
the
things.
scene. Yes, Hofstra Pride, class of 2011. Right in my freshman dorm, right next to the Coliseum. I could throw a rock.
Despite being in second place, though, Jeff, I did make a small pivot to DraftKings, and I'll tell you what I did after you read the ad.
Ooh, I love that. Have you played Pick Six from DraftKings, Neil, Jake, Justin, or anyone else out there listening? What are you waiting for? You better get on it. It's Super Bowl 59, the last time to play NFL Pick Six this season. So, as the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. So, play for better payouts on Pick Six. It's super easy to get started. You select 2 or more players, choose if they'll have more or less of a stat like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, and more. Pick Six is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first timers, so new Pick Six customers. So I believe that's even if you're on DraftKings, but you're a new Pick Six customer, you can play $5 to get $59 in Pick Six credits. How great is that? Win more cash on Pick Six. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5 and get $59 in Pick Six credits. Only on DraftKings Pick Six. The crown is yours. Do you have a gambling problem? If so, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six is not available everywhere. That would include New York and Ontario. So void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick Six credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
So this is not about daily fantasy, not about Pick Six, but we're still plugging DraftKings as a whole. DK Sportsbook. I think I texted you guys when the Wings were on a 7-game winning
You dropped
streak.
that bet?
Well, then I didn't do it then. And then they started
Makes sense.
another winning streak, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. So
100 to win 15K, I think it was.
yes. But then while I did it, Jeff, I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun here. Because
Don't
when
you dare tell me you put something on the Bruins, because buddy, they are not even going to.
No. This is, when you go on Instagram and someone's like, look at this crazy 17-leg parlay that was built over a 3-year span they had turned 85 cents into life-changing money. I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's have some fun.
Oh,
Eagles win Sunday, along with that Red Wings Stanley Cup. Duke wins the NCAA tournament. Celtics win the NBA Finals, and then Boston Common wins the TGL, that new interactive simulator golf league. And I was like, you got some money in there, just throw 18 on it. Jake knows about the number 18 and Judaism.
$18.
Boom, he knows.
Got it.
$18 to win $468,000. I want to be that guy on Instagram, Jeff. Someone's like, how did he do it?
I get so jealous. I know I've sent those to you before. I send them to some of my other buddies too. Yeah, I hate those. I look at those and I'm like, what? Those never work.
Yeah, but like pause for a second for Ravin's rants. It will end this Sunday when Goodell forces the Chiefs to win because Taylor Swift makes more money for the league and the refs call a horrendous penalty. Sorry,
So
conspiracy theory's over. but
Hey, Josh Allen got that fourth down, but
yeah,
nope, no, he
yeah,
did it.
yeah, exactly. So, but to bring it all back to the EHL, last time we had a podcast was January, a month ago, and it was before fantasy ended. I was fortunate, guys. I did hang on. It got close though. That Wolves game, like, listen, they can go off any game. The game that they had against Valley, where Charles Etienne Waugh had multiple points. I think he had like a 5-point game.
Yeah.
Robbie Murphy had multiple points. Christopher Richard got the win. I actually fell into second place for a second.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, I fell into second place until Caden Clegg went back out and won again, and then Daxton St. Hilaire kind of was the clincher with a goal and 2 assists last week. So got my ticket, and I submitted my picks again for this month, and hopefully it's good. But did you guys see who's in second place right now?
I did, but also Zach Spikuza had a 5-point game in that game.
True, he did too.
He did have a 5-point game.
He got me some good points. I think I finished in 12. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate you. I was a lot farther down. Zach, your area is over.
Is 12th though more? I don't know.
Tom Brady, we love him.
Yes, Brady. Like relieving, like not to be like not to be like second. Like is it like less heartbreak? I guess for you.
Yeah, it's like respectable. I guess top 10 would have been nicer. Top 5 would have been great. Winning would have been awesome. But yeah, 12 would be fine, Neil. Take it.
Okay. But again,
this month's not great yet.
In second place right now for this current month.
Mikey.
Is he awake yet, Jake?
Yeah, he's awake. He just woke up.
He's moving.
He works the late shift for anyone that doesn't know.
There's a pulse. We got a pulse.
There's a pulse.
To be in Mikey's defense, because some people are also like, wait, don't you guys record this like 9 or 10? Mikey works a late shift. He works 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the schools of Maynard.
Yeah, they're close today though, so we're gonna rip some Xbox like all day today.
Oh snap!
It's gonna be we're gonna turn back the clock to like
DoorDash and Xbox. DoorDash and Xbox.
But I was the one who told Mikey to take Captain Coop for this month. The Express P team had the least games played of any P team, so I was like, if you're gonna take someone from the P, like it really should be Captain Coop. So he gets a power play assist, a goal, shorthanded goal, game winner in the first game of February for the Express.
Not bad.
For sure. There's 3 Basiles over the course of 2 entries in the top 5.
yeah.
Michelle and Steve. I didn't even notice that. Look at that. Yeah.
My dad,
Will Link and Ben Diaz. I love that.
Yeah, I did it based on players that they've like texted me about. And like after the Bandits beat the Express, my dad was like, 86 is excellent. 86 is Ben Diaz. He loves Will Link's name. He's just like, Will Link is my favorite player to say because it sounds like we will link, I guess.
Oh god.
And then my mom's like, I like the goalie that always talks about where he's from. So,
but then
Will
like
Link the 5th
in true, because I can say this because my parents are decent with technology, but not great. You had to submit the picks for them.
I did.
Okay.
To save the time of the phone call.
Yeah, just like they get to the fantasy page. I can't figure out where to submit the picks. Just scroll down.
I didn't let it get that far.
Jake, what's an amal? What's an amal? What am I putting in here? Oh, an email. Got it.
I didn't know what you were saying there for a second.
Oh, well, look at that.
And then I got it.
You're like, amal? What? Email.
I guess what we hadn't factored in yet for this final month, guys, and the players that we previewed was potentially how many starts Brendan Nee is going to get. So he's in first place right now. He's gotten all 3 starts so far.
Crushing it for himself.
For the dude. He is crushing it for himself. I mean, February literally just started, guys. And he has 122 saves this month.
Holy smokes.
Like, all I have to say, pace yourself, Brendan.
Yes.
Pace yourself.
Because it's negative points for goals against. Saves are huge, so he always makes.
But I get why
40, 50 picks a night.
They're trying to make up ground for that final spot, so he's going to get the starts.
Yeah, he's a workhorse, one of the few.
Yeah. So, but again, for this final fantasy month, if we just start getting started, we literally still have all of February and then March to figure out a winner. I will say this, guys, because we're a very honest podcast. I am dreading putting in the fantasy points during the showcase.
Oh.
Like, that's going to be hard to do. Like, I'm going to be sitting in that back room there, just like numbers all day long.
Frozen Finals. Remember we used to do round robin math?
Yes. Yes.
Neil would bring out his pencil and his paper, and he's like, all right, so.
My favorite would be you would come over and you double check, and then you come over, you triple check. I'm just making sure we got this right. Yeah, we got it right.
Like, Neil, we good? You sure? Before we get people storming the castle up here?
Jake, I know Mike just sat down next to you.
Yes.
Can he see your screen?
He can.
He can?
Yes.
Well, then what's his favorite number?
27.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 1 through 25, though. That's what I want to say. Sorry, my fault. I should have said, what's his favorite number 1 through 25? What number is he loves this player for the Islanders, Siplikov?
7.
Yeah. Well, we need to pick a person to get the prize pack.
Take the swag bag. Neil's got enough.
I want to get, truthfully, Jeff, I could give it away to every person in the top 25, and I would still have enough swag in my basement for the whole neighborhood if I wanted to.
Sounds good. You know my address. Great.
So all right, Mikey, let's do this one final roll. Don't pick 27. Don't pick 7.
I already picked 7 last time we did this. It's Sergei Fedorov. He also does not need.
Pick a new. Pick
so much waste.
Pick your fourth.
Jeff. He's picking 12, and 12's Jeff.
Oh God. Pick it again.
All right, 15.
Justin Horatio. Perfect. Okay. He's got some EHL swag coming as well.
That's good.
Actually, this is even better. He's coming to the March showcase. We'll give it to him there.
You should have picked 2.
Don't even have to mail it. Save all the shipping.
No, 2 is from this month. You just said I should have picked 2. He's looking at the standings from this month. This is why he can't do these things.
This is why we can't have nice things.
It was like Beetlejuice. I heard you talking about fantasy, and I knew I was up there.
John, that was actually a good reference.
That was very good.
Yeah.
That was spot on.
And now, to wrap things up, we'll jump to what to watch for.
And now here's what to watch for in the EHL and the EHLP.
So back to our regular style, what to watch for, highlighting some games to watch. Unfortunately, will not be Jake and Mike playing Xbox all day, because I don't think there's even a way for us to watch that.
We can stream.
Let's like Twitch it, right?
I used to stream. Bathtub Jake on Twitch. We'll start streaming Chell.
Oh God.
If you can pull it off today, there's a chance I tune in.
Okay.
But in terms of games that I'll be tuning into in our league coming up in this upcoming week, another huge week with big points on the line for many teams. I want to see in the EHL the Avalanche up Laconia on Saturday night. The Wolves have won the last 2 games against the Avalanche, both in a shootout. We know the Avalanche have been kind of 500-ish up in Laconia. I think this is a huge game for them to kind of get that monkey off the back before the postseason rolls around and potentially having to go there for a huge matchup in March.
I like that. Can I go with kind of a weird one in the Express and Seahawks? Because I feel like on paper, people would be like, wait, what? Seahawks are burning up the East Division standings. Express still in first by 4 points. But maybe a potential playoff matchup at some point. These guys usually play a lot of close games. It's usually a 1-goal game. Express won 3-2 last time. They've won 4-3, 3-1, and 2-1. So the Seahawks haven't beaten them yet. But if there's any time, Jake, I feel like you'd admit this too, that they could beat them now. The Seahawks, I feel like, could possibly get Walpole this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's felt like every single game between the two teams, they could have beaten. I think only one game was decided by more than 1 goal. One went to a shootout. It's just it's a super tight series. Even though the winds have only gone one way, but I'm going to go with Nor'easter, Rhode Island, simply for the reason that Ryan Rhodes just committed to Curry College. Ryan Rhodes is the man. I mean, like, what a chill guy.
Congrats, Ryan. That's awesome. Peter Ryan is a great dude.
A top 3 goalie in this league. Definitely a top 3 goalie in this league. So good for him. Maybe a donut awaits him if he's playing on Saturday at 2:30.
What kind? Boston cream?
No. No. I'm gonna
Jelly.
It's gotta be one.
Damn,
Yeah,
Jeff.
it's gotta have a hole. It's gotta be a 0.
That's a good point. I'm gonna leave now.
Strawberry
yourself out.
frosted.
Oh my god.
Wait, so actually, why is a Boston cream donut a donut? We could go into a whole segment about
Is
this.
it-
Hold on.
is
You guys
it-
in Boston don't do
Full
much right.
cream.
It is a hot dog a sandwich, right? Next
Oh,
podcast.
jeez.
Anyways,
Yeah.
to the EHLP we go. I'm gonna
Yikes.
double down with in Laconia on Saturday because prior to that Avalanche versus Wolves EHL game, you have Adirondack versus Wolves EHLP. Adirondack, of course, was the first team to beat the Wolves this season when they were undefeated. Jake did call it, just saying. Actually, I think he called it late.
Just
His
saying.
first prediction was wrong. His second prediction was correct.
Correct. Yeah, you didn't need to say that, but you did.
Okay. Well, Jake, again, we're a very honest and transparent podcast.
Yeah, but not when I'm wrong. We really shouldn't be. You kind of like do like a little, DNC cover up on that.
Okay.
Jeez.
Somebody go next.
Anywho, I'm gonna go Bears Huntsman. They've played each other quite a bit. They're both in the South Division, with the Bears being in second. Huntsmen are in fourth. Huntsmen are kind of in that logjam we've talked about with the Renegades and Thunder. Thunder just above them, Renegades just below them. So big game for Zach Overholzer and the Huntsman. Zach admitting to me he hasn't listened to the podcast in a while the other day. He texted me kind of guiltily about it. So Zach, hopefully we can get your viewership back. There you go. Let's go Huntsman P.
I'll go with my call on Sunday, Vermont Express. It's kind of like a weird one, but they're coming down to Walpole twice in this month, back-to-back weekends, which I knew it was happening this weekend, and then I checked the schedule, and I was like, oh my God, back-to-back trips down for Vermont, which is kind of sweet.
Seth Gustin.
Well, he'll be with the EHL team.
Yeah.
But Jake will be running.
Oh,
Jake
Jack
will be
Lowry?
running out to the bus to see if Seth is there.
Well, they got the Dukes on Sunday,
Yes.
so it'll be me and Coach Jack.
But if the bus comes to pick up the
Jack.
Express or to pick up the Lumberjacks P team after the EHL team,
Oh.
Oh. Will Seth be in a suit? Will be in warm-up gear? I
not
don't know,
to
folks.
throw
Tune
one
in.
more curveball at you, Jake, we may get a foot of snow on Sunday. Just tossing that out there too.
Oh, is that right?
Wait,
Yes.
seriously?
Yes.
Super Bowl Sunday? Oh,
I
dude.
invited a friend over my house to watch the Super Bowl, and he said I'd love to come, but I don't own a snowmobile. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, look at the forecast. Look at the two of you are like stunned right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
looking at my
I don't
weather
ever
app,
look
yeah.
at the weather.
The weather is the most important piece of news out there.
I don't know about that.
It's the
True.
it's the
Affects your
only
day-to-day life.
piece of news that actually impacts every person in the world. I hope that you can call that game Sunday, Jake, because what time is the game?
Like 1:30.
Perfect. I'll watch it right before the big game. All I care
I'm
about.
not watching the Super Bowl.
I only watch to see if my squares hit.
That's fair.
I've had like sneaky.
I'm definitely
I've
placing
had
bets,
like
so I'll be
sneaky good
watching
luck
along
over the
for
years
those.
with the squares. I just got
Those are tough.
7-7 in one of them too. That's a good one.
Well, that is a good one. Those are really tough, though.
Anyways, thanks
Sure.
again to Adam Houli for coming on this week. That was great to have him on to talk about Tier 2. And there's more stuff coming. So keep an eye on our social media channels. And as I always say every week, if you can't make it out to watch the games in person because of a foot of snow, you can watch them on Full Hockey.
Sounds good. See you boys next week.
Thanks for listening to The E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.